What's good, guys? How's it going? Hope you guys are doing well. Let's talk about and discuss NXT for October the 4th, 2022. This was an okay show. So, we got to see the brand new set of NXT. Nothing really happened. The ring is just a lot brighter. All they did was just change the color scheme. The theme song is still the same and everything else. We were joined by Wade Barrett and the guy who does Level Up, Suju Shaw or Shaha or Shah, and Byron Saxton. I don't see why Byron's there. I really don't. It is what it is. So please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, comment down below. Let's go ahead and get started. So we kick the show off with Pretty Deadly. They come out dressing in powder wigs and whatnot, and they have their gavels and they start banging them, and they say order, order, and they're giving their Commonwealth address. So both of them go on about how handsome they are and how they're ruling over NXT. The fans start to boo them, and then they get their gavels in order. And then they say that they're beating everyone in NXT. They take shots at Briggs and Jensen, Idris Enife and Malik Blade, the Creed brothers, and the Dyad. So they skip out on them. They're like, nah, we don't want to face them. They're too creepy. And then they have no choice. And then it says, come to this, order, order, order. They decree that they are two-time, since they're two-time champions, they should be awarded the titles forever because they have no challengers. Out comes the Brawling Brutes. The fans pop huge. They chant Bruiserweight. And then Holland, he said that they came to NXT to find out how tough they really are face to face. Butch asked if there are any objection to kicking their heads in. Pretty Deadly, they claimed that they were hacked by the tweet that they sent out. They said they were hacked by, they mentioned Kevin Owens, Kevin Patrick, and they finally stuck with Kevin Owens. And then Butch and Holland, they hit the ring, and then they challenge Pretty Deadly to a fight because it's Tuesday night. It's like, it's fight night. That's what Butch said. And then Holland and Butch, they start brawling with the champs. And then out comes Carmelo Hayes. His music hits. First match of the night, Carmelo Hayes versus Ora Mensa. Hayes wins with the leg drop that he does. I wish they would change that finisher. That's just me. Then he got on commentary, and he was tremendously good on commentary. I love the shit that he's doing. Carmelo needs to be in the fucking main roster. It's time. Carmelo is that dude. Carmelo is that dude. I don't care where you put him, Raw or SmackDown. He'll thrive on either show. He's that damn good. Moving on, we had a backstage segment involving Toxic Attraction. They were attacked by Alba Fire. She used her baseball bat. And Gigi and JC, they did not sell their shots to the stomach very well. And so, since that happened, it's not going to be a six-women's tag match. It's going to be Toxic taking on Zoe Stark and Nikita Lyons. So, we didn't get Andre Chase versus Von Wagner. This is for the NXT North American ladder match. Von Wagner wins. I am a fan of Andre Chase. I would pick him any day over Von Wagner. He's boring as fuck. Fuck Von Wagner. I hate him. I hate him. Not being mean, but he fucking sucks. He does. So he wins here. So Von Wagner wins. Who really cares? Doesn't matter. He's just there just to be there in the ladder match. He's not going to win anyway. Moving on, we are backstage and we see the welts that started to form on Brutus's back. from the steel chairs last week. So Ivy Nile and Julius in the training room, and Brutus is getting his shoulder checked out, but he's pissed off. He's irate. He's throwing shit, saying he can go. Julius tells him to relax so he can get cleared. But Trent says he's not getting cleared. Duke Hudson, he appears. I don't know where the hell he's been at for the past 2 months or 3 months. I've lost count of where he's been. I don't know where. I thought he got released, just being honest. Julius tells him to keep his mouth shut and keep walking, or he's gonna receive some chair shots of his own. And then Duke, he makes fun of the Creeds, and then Julius challenges him to a match, and then Duke walks out and promises to put Julius in the training room with his brother. So during the post-match of Von Wagner and Andre Chase, Wesley comes out. He attacks Carmelo Hayes, which I liked. So he shows some backbone. And I was like, back in my mind, I was like, where was this shit last week? This is what should happen last week. Sangha is backstage, so he's chatting with Nathan Frazier. And he's down and out, that being Sangha. And then Sangha tells Frazier hopefully he wins the ladder match at Halloween Havoc. And then Frazier, he thanks Sangha, he walks out. And then all of a sudden we see Veer. He's wearing a suit. He stops and he smiles at Sangha. So I like this. I'm glad that they're back. This actually makes sense. Moving on, we see a red hoodie mystery person with a yellow mask in the parking lot. So he's hanging out with Gacy and the boys. And so Schism, they're hanging out and whatnot. So then we go to our next match of the night, Wendy Choo versus Last Legend. Last Legend talks some smack before the match. Wendy Choo wins here. It doesn't matter. I don't like either of them. That's just me. Moving on, backstage, Kelly Caden, she's backstage with Wesley. And he says that what he did to Carmelo Hayes was not a message, it was a receipt. He then tells how about Hayes trying to smash a skull in his career. And then Wesley's going to go all out for the North American Championship at Halloween Havoc. He said he'd be lying if he didn't just want to get his hands on Hayes. Then out of nowhere, Stacks interrupts. He says all his friends are gone and that Wes is ruthless. He indicates that D'Angelo is suffering from a PCL injury after last week's qualifier. Lee says he didn't want to win the match that way. Stacks threatens Lee and he accuses him of hurting D'Angelo. And then Stacks says that Lee's actions will have consequences, and then he dips out. So I like that. I like where this is going. This is interesting. This is very interesting, in my opinion. Moving on. We get a video package involving Gallus. So they are suspended indefinitely. And then they're putting everyone on notice, including Pretty Deadly and Bronzebreaker for whatever reason. I have no idea why. Next, we have Toxic Attraction versus Nikki Lyons and Zoe Stark for the number one. It's a number one contender match. Starks and Lyons wins, which is kind of weird, but it is what it is, I guess. We'll probably see Toxic on the main roster. Probably, I would assume, on SmackDown, since it's the season premiere on Friday. So I wouldn't be shocked if we see them then, and then in due time, we'll have Mandy come up as well. But I would much rather see them on the main roster than just be job fodder for the dwindling tag division with KC Squared having the belts. So it's interesting to see what they do here involving Nikita Lyons, Zoe Stark, and KC Squared. Speaking of KC Squared, um, um, so basically, we see KC Squared looking backstage, and then they're checking out, their challengers. So that's pretty cool. We also get a backstory involving them. Speaking of champions, we get a video from Ilias Draganov. Draganov, he says that he never has feared pain. Pain makes you feel alive, but agony is a different kind of feeling. When he hurt his ankle, it was much more than a searing pain of a snapped ligament. The agony he felt when he had to vacate his title taken away, not by an opponent, but by circumstance. It was his privilege to shoulder the weight of the entire brand, and the biggest challenge was sitting and watching NXT breathe its last breath. He watched in frustration from home as worlds collide. Titles were unified, knowing it should have been him in the ring with the unified NXT champion, Bronzebreaker. He says opportunities are like that only happen once in a lifetime. He can't change the past, but he can change the future. He says that Braun is a great champion, but he's a man. And in Halloween Havoc, he's stepping in the ring with a machine. Then he credits JD McDonough, and he says that the scars that his body bears of their heated battles, but JD knows in his heart that Ilias has suffered to be victorious. He leaves every ounce of himself in the ring, including days, weeks, months of his career, which is something JD likes to talk about, but he doesn't possess. Ilias says in Halloween Havoc, he will suffer, he will endure a great deal of pain, but it'll be worth it because he'll once again become champion as the world says in unison, long live the Tsar. Fucking awesome ass promo. Ilias is that dude. He is that dude. I fucking love me some Ilias. Moving on, we have the Grayson Waller effect, episode 2. So he introduces Cora Jade first. Then he introduced Roxanne Perez. So Waller, he apologizes for not having a booster seat for Perez. That was fucking funny. So the two of them, they sit. So Jade, she asked Perez how many people she cried to just to get the match. Perez says that she'll kick Jade's ass. They have some words. Waller interrupts a couple times. Perez says she feels nothing because she's going into this match with no emotions, unlike Heatwave. Jade makes fun of her for being emotional. Perez recalls that they wanted to grow in the business together and be the 4 horsewomen. The 4 horsewomen were for them, that they want to be, or whatever. But the moment she got a little bit bigger, Jade turned on her. Perez says she will leave Jade behind at Halloween Havoc. Perez says everyone find out that Jade was a whole lot of internet hype and not much of a talent. Jade says Perez isn't good enough to be part of the generation of Jade. Perez says that true Jade is out since she spent a year being a nice girl. No one bought it. And then the second Jade realized no one was buying it, she blamed Perez and the fans. And then she's about to say bullshit, but then Waller interrupts us. We don't say that language. Then he said he's got 2 big scoops. First, he said it's going to be a pick your poison for the next 2 weeks, which is going to be awesome. And then Waller, he suggests it's going to be, for shits and giggles, Omos versus Perez. I'm like, damn, hell no. But he also mentioned there's going to be a spin the wheel. He spins the wheel, make the deal, and we have a weapons choice match or whatever. Or weapons wild match. so that's pretty cool. Then shit broke down. Apollo beat down Grayson Waller. He dragged him in the ring. Waller started bleeding from both his eyes. I'm like, what the fuck? And then Jade and Perez are separated by security. So there's that. So I thought it was pretty cool. Next, Julius versus Duke Hudson. It was a squash match. Julius wins. I feel bad for Duke Hudson because why? Duke deserves a little bit better. Duke is what, 6'5", 250 or 260? Nah, this guy can't be a job guy. I like Julius, but nah, it shouldn't have been like that. You know, he could have gotten some offense in. I'm like, damn. But post match, Damon Kemp, he gets on the mic and he says that he's gonna face Julius at Halloween Havoc, but only if he puts his brother's career on the line. If he loses, he has to leave NXT, that being his brother. And then basically it's going to be an ambulance match because that's what Julius wants. So he's no longer playing with him. He's no longer being Mr. Nice Guy. Then we get JD McDonough. He says that he's been in the ring with both Draganov and Breaker. He says that they're widely different, but they don't have an educated brain, but they're basically exactly the same. They don't have two brain cells grow together. They use their bodies. He says that Halloween Havoc, they will try to see who's the toughest and who can take the most pain. But his pain is to let them tear each other apart like animals. The winner will not be the strongest or the most aggressive. It'll be the smartest. JD says you will call him what you want, a vulture, jackal, or hyena. And at the end of the night, you'll call him the new NXT champion. Nice. I like that. Moving on. Hank. He's back with the NXT security crew. So they have him up for the night's match against Zion Quinn. Quincy Elliott walks up and says, Wagner to be careful with Quinn. As much as Quinn likes his tribal tattoos, he's pissed about Quinn last week. So, there's that. We got a VF package hyping up Axiom. He cut a terrible promo about superheroes. Who cares? This Axiom character needs to go. Zion Quinn versus Hank Walker. Zion wins. I'm glad that he won. Hank, I like him. He's really good, so that's pretty cool. Later on in the night, Grimes got beat the shit out of by the Schism and Joe Gacy. They beat him down with trash cans, steel chairs, and their fist. And they now have a new member, and it looks to be a female. So I don't know who that could be. So there was an argument back and forth with Brent Briggs and Jensen and Idris and Monique Blade. So there's that. Main event, Brawling Boots versus Pretty Deadly for the NXT Tag Team Champions. Pretty Deadly, they win via an interference by Imperium, 2/3 of Imperium. And then post-match, we see both Blade and Ina Face standing on the podium, as well as Briggs and Jensen. So there's that. I'm like, not cool. Forgot to mention Braun Breaker. So Braun says that he says that Ilias and JD can watch all the film they want and train as much as they want, but at Halloween Havoc, it'll be a dogfight. But then he's interrupted by Javier Bernal, my dude, and he introduces himself as a future NXT champion, which probably will happen in due time. He taunts Braun, makes fun of him, says that the triple threat title match is the same kind of match that he lost the title before. Braun laughs at Bernal and says that his temper got him in the first triple threat, has probably got him in the second one, but Banal stupidity is going to make him request the match against Banal next week, and then he walks off, that being Braun. So all in all, this was an okay match. I, thoroughly enjoyed it. The show was decent. So on that note, please hit the like button, comment down below, and let me know what you guys think. I'll catch you guys later. Peace. This is a pretty good show, though.
To the end.